What does hand frame mean, and how do I make sure mine is good? Keep watching to find out. If we haven't met, hi, I'm Megan. I'm a violinist and teacher, currently based in New Jersey. I've been playing the violin for over 20 years. I have both my bachelor's and master's degrees in violin performance, and I've helped over 200 adult learners achieve their dreams, which is absolutely crazy to say. If you're enjoying my tutorials, please feel free to subscribe and check out my online violin academy, where I have hundreds of tutorials just like this one, plus digital practice plans, all of my digital courses and live classes with me. You can click the link in the description to check it out. In this video, you'll learn what a hand frame is, how hand frame is different from finger pattern, and how to make sure your hand frame is optimized for the music you like to play. So first, what is hand frame? Hand frame refers to the general shape and position of your left hand. So this includes several things, such as the position of your wrist, the position of your thumb, the position and placement of your fingers, and your finger pattern. Finger pattern refers to the spacing or the distance between each of your fingers. And of course, your finger pattern changes depending on what key you're playing in, but ideally your hand frame should stay relatively similar depending on what position you're playing in. Obviously, if you're playing in the lower position, say first through third or even fourth, it's going to be very different than playing in the upper positions. So hand frame is the general shape of your left hand, and finger pattern is the spacing of your fingers. Now let's discuss the ideal hand frame. First, starting with the wrist. The wrist needs to be in a neutral position in line with your forearm. The wrist should not be sticking out like this or collapsing in like this. I call this a pancake wrist to my students. But yes, so you just want your wrist to be totally in line with your elbow, no matter what finger you are playing with. So a lot of times I'll see students either do this or do this, especially when going for their fourth finger, and that puts their whole hand frame out of whack. So the wrist stays in line. For the thumb, obviously this can differ a bit from person to person, but again, it should be in a neutral, relaxed position. You can see that my thumb is neither totally straight or totally bent, it's just completely relaxed. I've angled it so it's slightly on the back side of the thumb, and my thumb is right behind my first finger, although that placement can change for you depending on the size of your hand. If your hand is smaller, you might want to put your thumb closer to your second finger, and if it's larger, you might want to put your thumb further back. Also, the thumb changes positions depending on what string you're playing on. Going down to G string, it comes a little bit more underneath, and on the E string, it's a little bit more on the side. Same when you're playing vibrato, I find it easiest to place my thumb a little bit further underneath the neck to give me a little bit more leverage and support. We also want to make sure we're keeping a space right here, that we're not gripping the violin like that. And when we place our fingers down, they should be going down directly on the tip. You can see that my knuckles are up. It's almost like these are little tabletops right here. And yes, even my fourth finger should be shaped like that. Obviously has to do a lot with fourth finger strength, but that's a topic for another day. Also, in the ideal hand frame, the fingers should remain close to the string no matter what. So if you find your fourth finger going back here, or your fingers kind of doing that when you're trying to play, that's really not the ideal hand frame. Your fingers should stay very close to the string so they are at the ready to play at any moment. When it comes to playing in the higher positions, yes, the hand frame does change. So you can see that obviously my thumb changes position. In 6th, 7th, 8th position, my thumb is right here in the crook of the violin, I like to say. However, if you have smaller hands, you might need to have the thumb come even a little bit more around so you can reach those higher notes. You can see my wrist is obviously in a different position. I am resting it on the side of the violin right here, and again, if I need to play higher than that, my wrist might even come up above the violin, just like that. My finger positions stay pretty similar. What's different is the knuckle. So you can see that my knuckle is straighter up here just because of the angle of the hand, but my fingers are still landing on the tips. Maintaining a great hand frame while playing is important for a couple different reasons. One, it helps you stay relaxed and injury-free. 2, it helps you with your intonation. And 3, it helps you determine what position you're playing in. If you're in, again, 1st through 4th, you have one hand frame. In the higher positions, maybe 5th through 8th, you have a different one. And then even higher than that, you have a slightly different one as well. So that is a violin hand frame. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. Check out my online violin academy, subscribe before you go, and thank you for watching.